What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. I am JoJo Speaks from Faithful Warrior Ministries. Thank y'all so much for joining me. This being my review for Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, rather, episode 6, y'all. So of course we're dealing with the aftermath of Kenya's whole bit at her salon, exposing Brittany as a video girl, as a former P star, or not necessarily a P star, but she revealed pictures of Miss Britt performing fellatio on a young man. And so we start out with Britt and her husband, and she's dealing with the backlash, and she's very hurt and affected by it. And I was getting my hair done yesterday, and my loctician Mitchell, shout out to Mitchell, he let me know that Britt was on Watch What Happens Live a little while ago, and she was very shady towards all of the other girls. And this made me feel, I already did not really necessarily care for Britt that much, especially with her threatening Kenya with the pew pew weapons and whatnot. And so, I did not think that was acceptable. Neither was what Kenya did acceptable either. However, it hearing her being so shady towards the other girls made me feel as though I was vindicated in the fact that I really did not care for Miss Britt at all whatsoever. But I can only imagine being exposed in that way. Although those pictures and videos were available for anyone to see if they wanted to go look for it. Now, Britt did say that she took down all those videos, she took down all those pictures and whatnot, but whatever happens on the internet stays on the internet. And so, of course, Kenya was able to find it. But, anyways, so she's very affected by it, and she's not feeling good about it, and I can't blame her. I can't blame her whatsoever. So that was unfortunate for her. And I'm not going to talk about everything that happened in the episode. Just want to talk about the things that uh that 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 uh that stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? So another thing that I saw is that Drew met up with Shamia at the studio, as well as Angela. Angela was there as well. I'm loving that. Well, I don't know if I want to say I'm loving, but I find it very interesting that Angela and Shamia seem to be so close. They were in, I think, 3 scenes together in this episode, and so I like that. I'm seeing that. I'd much rather see Shamia with Angela than see Shamia with Portia, because we'll get to that in a moment. That friendship that we see there. But anyways, so Shamia's in the studio with RL from Next. He's very talented, talented songwriter, talented producer, talented singer. I absolutely love his voice, and so Shamia's got the right people working on her music. I did enjoy the song that she revealed to everyone 2 episodes ago at Angela's event. I thought it was really nice, and thought it was interesting that Portia decided to say, "Oh, that's not you, girl. That'll sound like you." Okay, Portia. But anyways, so Shamia was like, "Drew, this is the type of producer you need to get all your shit." Okay, so kind of reading Drew a little bit. You know what I'm saying, for using Dennis of all people to executive produce her album. But to each his own. It is what it is. But anyways, Drew, brings up the fact that Portia, tried to read, or tried to shade Shamia for her musicality, for her music. And Shamia was like, yeah, that was really shocking, because she was talking over it, and y'all really couldn't hear the music. And I found it really interesting the way that Shamia is going about confronting this issue with Portia. Extremely interesting the way that Shamia, because Shamia is a real classy woman. The way that she came at Angela was, I'm thinking that wasn't really who she was. And I don't want to believe that's who Shamia is. Shamia always has come off to me, I don't know if she's necessarily the most humble woman alive. However, she seems like a girl's girl. She seems like a girl that that represents for her girls, that supports her girls, and things of that nature. And so I've really been enjoying Shamia. I really have. I will say that a couple of reviews ago, I felt like she was doing a little bit too much for the cameras, but that feeling is starting to subside a little bit. I'm starting to enjoy seeing her on the show more and more as the episodes go on. But Anyways, we later on Kelly working out with her daughter, going over the fact that her ex husband or soon to be ex husband is out of jail after a contempt charge. And apparently her daughter Chloe is not her ex husband's child, and so the fact that he really doesn't want to be in her life is really affecting her. It was really affecting Kelly, not so much Chloe. But I enjoy seeing Kelly's relationship with her daughter. Really, to be honest, they look more like sisters than mother and daughter to me. But that's just a testament to how beautiful and younger looking Kelly is, and so I really appreciate seeing that. So it's amazing. I think Kelly is my favorite cast member of this season of Housewives of Atlanta. I just love her. I just love her entrepreneurship. If that is even a word, I love that she gets to the money. I love that, and she makes no apologies about it, because she's got a family to support. She's got people to support, and she wants to have the status that she has, and I really do appreciate seeing that. I really do, and it seems genuine. It seems genuine. It's not that this came about as soon as Housewives of Atlanta came knocking at her door. No, she's been on this road for a while, so I really do appreciate seeing that. We then see Portia and Shamia. They go golfing, and Shamia says that because Portia is going through a lot. Not exactly sure how much a lot is. I don't know if I really buy Shamia's reasoning for not confronting Portia about her disrespecting her while she was sharing her music with everyone. But they have a little bit of a talk or whatever, and it's just so interesting to me that how fake this friendship comes off, because it seems like a friendship of convenience, friendship of convenience for Portia, because Shamia really don't need nobody. Shamia really doesn't need Portia. She might have was able to, because of her connection with Portia and Candy for that matter. That's probably what got her on the show, because she's been on previous seasons as a friend of. Um, so it's just so interesting to me how much Shamia is supportive of Portia and how that support is not reciprocated fully by Portia. It's really interesting to me that Shamia seems not to have any issues with that, when it's so obvious to us as viewers that Portia does not support Shamia in the same way Shamia supports Portia. It's really interesting to me, and I'm really looking forward to the moment that Shamia confronts Portia about her lack of support. And I don't know if Shamia is going to do it the way that I would want her to do it, because I would want her to do it just flat out. Like, girl, you're not supporting me. You're not acting like a friend to me. You're treating me like shit. And that's how I want Shamia to come off. I'm sure she won't use those words in particular. However, that's the energy that I want to see from Shamia when she finally confronts Portia about this. And I'm hoping that it's in the next episode, even though it wasn't put in the preview. They're going to Nashville or some other city outside of Atlanta for an event. But I really want to see Shamia hold Portia's feet to the fire concerning her support for her. And so then the last scene that we saw was Kelly. She's throwing a little bit of a gathering for the girls. I thought it was really cute, having her stylist help her out with it and all that good stuff. Portia does not come to this particular meeting. Kenya is not doing any filming after this, after the previous episode 5. So all the girls are there. And they're there to support Britt, and I love the fact that Kelly is supporting Britt. And I also want to mention that it seems so interesting to me that Kelly is attaching herself so hard to Britt. I don't know if that's because she really doesn't see any other camaraderie amongst the other girls. She had a little issue with Portia, questioning why she took, why she took that man, took Simon away from his wife and all that good stuff. But I understand why Britt is holding on to why Kelly is holding on to Britt so genuinely. It is because Kelly really doesn't have any other allies in the cast, or any other direct allies in the cast. Shamia kind of has Portia and Angela. So Kelly's kind of not she's not spoiled for choice. So the girls are, they're asking Britt how she's doing, and Britt mentions the fact that she's losing her business license. I think she mentioned, and Angela asked, how did you lose your business license? And of course, Angela asked this because Angela is a businesswoman herself, and Britt takes offense to that, and she confronts Angela about this, and she's like, "Why are you bringing me this energy?" And I'm like, "Angela's just asking a valid question. How is it that you're losing your license because of this? Like, what is this?" And Angela, I'm so glad that Angela is sticking up for herself and not allowing for some random girl. Because to me, at this point, Brit is just a random girl, and I hope she's not coming back for the next season, but Angela sticks up for herself, and I love seeing that. I really do love seeing that. And so the girls switch sides. Angela goes to the opposite side of the table, and Shamia asks the same exact question. Britt doesn't take offense to the fact that Shamia is asking the question. I don't know if because Shamia is that girl this season, which I am seeing her as that girl this season, the main girl, the girl that the girls are coming to see, honey. And so, Britt gives her explanation. I really don't exactly remember what Britt says, but I just find it interesting that Britt has so many issues with so many of these girls. And that's why I feel as though Brit is constantly trying to look for a moment, look for a reality TV moment, much like Kenya had in the previous episode. And when you are, it seems desperate to me. It's coming off as desperate to me. And I don't like seeing women coming onto these reality shows and acting desperate. Sometimes it can flow so naturally, like, a New York or like I would say Mama D, but Mama D does kind of seem desperate at times. I deserve, but, I love Mama D for all that she brings to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. But I don't see Brit as a genuine woman on a reality TV show, that is. It seems like she's constantly looking for moments. She's constantly looking for the spotlight. And I think it should come naturally. Angela's not acting like that. Kelly is not acting like that per se. It does seem like she's pushing for it at times, but she doesn't seem desperate for it. Brittany seems desperate for the spotlight. And that's a little annoying to me. So, what are you guys thinking about this episode and this season? Do you appreciate the fact that Britt got into Angela's face about her asking why she lost her license? And do you feel sorry for Britt? Because personally, like, I do feel sorry for her for being exposed. I do feel sorry for her in that regard. However, I can't say that I like the girl. I really can't say that I like the girl. But maybe things will change as time has gone on. I've warmed up to Shamia as the episodes have gone on. So maybe I'll warm up to Britt eventually. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it. Make sure you give me a thumbs up for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the girls this season. Who is your favorite girl and why? Do you notice the way that Portia's not supporting Shamia the way that Shamia should be supported as an actual friend? Who is your favorite girl? Let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know that JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. I'll check you guys out on the next video. Peace out.